Where are you from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, West Side, Bankhead to be exact. And I've been moving around College Park, West End, etc.
Now, what was it like for you growing up in Atlanta? Paint the picture for us.
I mean, kind of cliche. Same typical, grew up, had drug dealers, uncles on drugs, grandma in and out of the house. I was staying from grandma to mom's, back and forth. Grew up around a lot of, I guess you would say, dangerous things, guns, violence, etc. But I kind of just broke away from all that.
How?
Thanks to my dad. He was a worker. He travels a lot, so he moved us around and happened to get us in a better, more, I guess, suburban. But we still kept going back to the hood, so it's kind of, I'm on both sides.
Now, would you consider your upbringing rough?
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I mean, I had a lot of people going to jail, dying. I had a lot of close incidents with death as well. Luckily,
Like
I
what?
made it out of that.
What happened?
I got a lot of, I guess, gang members around me. A lot of people that bring a lot of violence towards us. I stayed in kind of a dope house or whatever, but I mean, I got out of it by my parents just moving, basically, but it's still there.
Now, when you say you have a rough upbringing, what was your roughest moment growing up?
Oh man, my roughest, I have to say, gotta be the shootouts. I had a lot of people in shootouts, and I just happened to be right in the mix. I was always there. And there was one in particular, I was picking up somebody who was going somewhere, and I didn't even know I was in the shootout. Thought I was just going to the house, but a lot of shots started getting fired, back and forth. So, yeah, but luckily we got out of that. Crazy thing about it is it was in the same apartments, everything.
Have you ever been shot?
Nah, haven't been shot.
So been in some shootouts, but never been,
Yeah.
no bullet has grazed you yet.
Yeah, I've been blessed.
Now, what about as a kid going to school? What type of student were you?
Oh, I was the type that tried to play the role of the tough guy, but I knew I was kind of a nerd, But at the same time, like I said, I grew up in that rough environment, so I kind of adapt to it. So in school, I was A and B honor roll.
Graduated high school?
Yeah, graduated high school.
Tried college?
Tried it, didn't finish it. It wasn't for me,
What year did you end up dropping out? Freshman,
Oh, man.
sophomore,
Freshman.
junior?
I made it, one semester, and that was it.
Why? What was the reasoning for the dropout?
Money, and I had situations going on with parents and a lot of things in my family going on. I couldn't do it.
What was your parents' thoughts when you ended dropping out?
I mean, that thing was just make sure you do something. And music was my passion anyway, so it was like, even if I don't do college, I gotta do music. At the end of the day, have to be music.
Right after the dropout, did you go right into music, or stay in music, I should say, or were you in the streets and then music came, or how did that work?
I mean, I wouldn't say I was definitely in the streets, but I was in and out. I had people in the streets around me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of with them, but I didn't go straight into music until someone close to me that was doing music got killed over some gang-related activities. And after that, I decided to take the music more serious, and I felt like I had to take on the responsibility to make it.
I see. Now, what do you say to that kid that is thinking about, well, high school's ending, and they're thinking about the next step in their life, and maybe, similar situation, maybe they have one foot in the streets and one foot, in school, and again, high school is about to finish for them. They got to make the next decision in their life. What do you tell that person?
Follow your heart, man. I always know the consequences. Look at what people that's in the streets, look at how their life ends, look at people that's not in the streets, and look at the opportunities they have. I mean, everybody's situation different. Some people can't get out of the streets. Luckily, I was one of the ones that could get out. But if it was up to me, I'd say the streets ain't where it's at.
Now, what about the kid that's passionate about music, into music, and high school's ending for them as well? And let's say they got to make that next choice. Do you tell a kid like that, go right into music after high school's over? Or do you tell somebody, continue your education and do music at the same time?
I say try to do both. But sometimes music it's like a 24/7, it's like all the time. You have to do music all the time. So sometimes you might have a show at a time that you have class, and you might not be able to work. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to make sacrifices. And my music was more important than at the time, so that's what I chose. But everybody's different.
Looking back, when you dropped out of college, was that the right decision for you to make? Do you wish you would have stayed in there longer?
Honestly, to be 100%, I
Wish
don't.
you never attended?
No, I'm glad I attended. It was a good experience, but I don't feel like it was for me. I feel like music that's my way.
Now, okay, jobs you had growing up, if any. Any
Oh,
jobs?
man. I had plenty of jobs. I can't even count, and I never stayed with them. Like, if any job got in the way of my music, if I felt like it was taking up too much time, I had to leave.
Quit.
I quit.
Ever got fired from a job?
Never got fired. Got laid off, but never fired.
What jobs did you do?
A lot of warehouses.
Ah.
I tried doing fast food checkers. That lasted maybe like 2 weeks. That wasn't worth it. Pay wasn't enough, and Dollar General did that for about a month. Ain't work out, and the rest was just warehouse jobs.
Any crazy stories dealing with any of those jobs? Anything out of the norm?
Yeah, I worked at a garbage plant. It was like a big ass, I guess, recycling plant, and it had a shitload of roaches. I mean, not roaches, but rats, like big rats, size of like puppies, chihuahuas.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like the worst, and I was stepping all over them. They told you to get in the trash, hug the trash. Nah, I wasn't with that. I had to dip.
Now, you mentioned your father in this interview so far. Were both parents in your life or just him?
Stepdad, but both parents are in my life. He was a traveler, so around, I guess I was 7. After that, he started leaving, so he was rarely at home. So it was really me, my mom, and I have 6 other siblings, and I'm the oldest, so it was just us, basically.
But your biological father's still around? Still in your life?
My real dad, nah, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I know he's still alive or whatever, but I don't communicate with him.
I see.
Yeah.
So stepdad and mom. Now, are they together still?
Yeah, they together.
Okay. And when your real father, biological father, when he left, was that very early on as a kid?
I was like 2 years old.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
So have you ever even met him?
Yeah, I met him plenty of times.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's like, what's up, bro? Can't even call him dad, honestly. You know what I mean? That's, same old story. Dad leave and try to come back when he see you doing something good. And I was just to the point, like, I don't really have time to deal with you.
I see.
Yeah, I give you tickets to a concert. That's about it.
Good relationship with your stepfather?
Yeah, real good relationship.
Now, you mentioned siblings. You said you're the youngest?
No, I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest.
Yeah, the
Sorry.
oldest.
Now, does anybody else in your family rap beside yourself or just you?
Oh, man, nobody really rap. Well, me and my cousin rap, but after my brother started seeing what I'm doing, then he want to rap. And then the one under him see him, so he want to rap. So, I mean, everybody want to rap, but,
Have you collabed with anybody else in your family?
Yeah, my cousin, he's the only one I collab with.
Now, what does your family think about your rap career?
At first, they was on the fence about it, like, oh, you was doing good in school and this and that. But after they started seeing me start getting a little buzz and seeing how good I really was, they started saying, well, yeah, you need to focus on music. That might just be your rap.
So they warmed up as far as their support?
Yeah, they're not fully there, but they getting there.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Have your parents seen you perform?
Nah. They
Not
haven't
yet.
seen me perform.
Now, in regards to your parents, what's the worst thing you put them through?
I really don't have a worst. I haven't really put my parents through a lot. My grandma, that's a different story. Like, we had a lot of, like I said, we had a lot of, drugs and stuff inside the house, stuff that she shouldn't have been around. But other than that, like, my parents, I never really put them through anything.
Now, we talked about a variety of subjects in regards to your upbringing, but what's your message to the youth, generally speaking? What would you tell them today?
I tell you, don't believe the hype. Don't follow everybody you see in the streets and that's claiming they're doing this and that, because some people just trying to prove that there's something they're not. And if you feel like something is not right or not for you, don't do it just because of pure pressure. Always do what you want to do, follow what you want to do, because only person gonna be in that grave is you at the end of the day. So you gotta live your own life.